As a Christian, it's essential to address the topic of climate change with a critical and nuanced perspective, recognizing that the rhetoric surrounding this issue can be misleading and even deceptive. The notion of a fake climate change agenda suggests that there are those who would manipulate and exploit the issue for their own gain, and it's crucial for Christians to be aware of these tactics and respond in a way that is grounded in biblical truth and sound science. First and foremost, Christians must recognize that the Bible teaches us to be good stewards of the earth and its resources. In Genesis 1:28, God commands humanity to subdue the earth and have dominion over it, which means we have a responsibility to manage and care for the planet in a way that honors God. This doesn't mean that we should recklessly exploit natural resources or ignore the impact of human activity on the environment. Rather, we should strive to find a balance between economic development, social justice, and environmental sustainability. However, the climate change agenda being promoted by some activists and politicians is often rooted in a secular, humanistic worldview that is at odds with Christian values. This agenda often emphasizes the need for drastic, government-led interventions in the economy and personal freedoms, which can be seen as an attempt to impose a form of tyranny on society. Moreover, the alarmist rhetoric and doomsday predictions surrounding climate change can be seen as a form of fear-mongering, which is not only unhelpful, but also unbecoming of a Christian response to this issue. So, how can Christians fight back against the fake climate change agenda? Firstly, we must educate ourselves on the science behind climate change, recognizing that there are many uncertainties and complexities surrounding this issue. We should be cautious of simplistic or sensationalized claims about the causes and consequences of climate change, and instead seek out credible, peer-reviewed sources of information. By doing so, we can develop a more nuanced understanding of the issue and avoid being swayed by emotional appeals or ideological agendas. Secondly, Christians should advocate for a more balanced and holistic approach to environmental stewardship, one that takes into account the needs of both people and the planet. This means recognizing the importance of economic development, energy security, and social justice, while also promoting sustainable practices and responsible resource management. We should support policies and initiatives that encourage innovation, entrepreneurship, and community-led conservation efforts, rather than relying solely on top-down, government-led solutions. Thirdly, Christians must be willing to challenge the ideological underpinnings of the climate change agenda, which often prioritize a secular, humanistic worldview over biblical values. We should recognize that the roots of environmental degradation and social injustice are often spiritual in nature, and that true solutions to these problems can only be found in the gospel of Jesus Christ. By sharing the good news of salvation and promoting a biblical worldview, we can help to transform hearts and minds and inspire a more virtuous and responsible approach to environmental stewardship. Finally, Christians should engage in respectful and constructive dialogue with those who hold different views on climate change, seeking to understand their perspectives and build bridges of understanding. By listening to others and sharing our own perspectives in a gracious and humble spirit, we can help to foster a more civil and informed public discourse on this issue, and promote a more collaborative and effective approach to addressing the challenges of climate change. In conclusion, Christians have a critical role to play in responding to the fake climate change agenda by promoting a more nuanced and balanced approach to environmental stewardship, advocating for sound science and responsible policy, and sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ as the ultimate solution to the spiritual and social roots of environmental degradation. By doing so, we can help to build a more just, prosperous, and sustainable future for all, one that honors God and reflects the values of biblical wisdom and compassion.